Do you suffer from dry mushrooms? I do. I think we might have a cure. Well, at least I've got an experiment to see if we can cure this. Hot, dry summers in Perth, mushroom season is out, unless we succeed. So, what are we going to do? I had a thought, and yes, it hurt. The problem with the mushroom growing over summer is the very, very dry climate we live in. And as I was browsing the interwebs, as you occasionally do, I saw an ad for something, and it was a humidifier. And I thought, what if we get a little humidifier, put that in with our mushrooms, and see if it pumps out enough moisture to keep them alive? So I lashed out, committed myself to a significant investment, and bought this. This is a little Amazon one. It was very, very expensive. It cost me $10. And it works as much as you would expect it to. So here we have the mist coming out and pretty green light. But that's what the problem is. It turns off. I'm glad it did that so early. It runs for a couple of hours and turns off. Interestingly, it uses hardly any water, so I don't know how much it's actually pumping out. Not much, I would guess. So, from that experiment, I thought, well, maybe I was being a little bit too cheap. So I went back to Amazon and I bought this. Ooh, there he is. So let's unbox the big humidifier and I'll look at the specs. I think it was quite good. I'll put the price up there. I can't remember exactly how much it was. It wasn't cheap, but it also wasn't horribly expensive. And for the sake of my mushrooms, it's worth it. Because I was really disappointed we can't continue to grow our mushrooms over summer. Because we were getting kilos and kilos of mushrooms well, that was an exaggeration. We were getting hundreds of grams of mushrooms every week, which was more than enough to give us a feed 2-3 times a week of different types of mushrooms. And there's a great unveiling. One upside down humidifier. There he is there. It's a 4 litre, I think it says. It has a remote control and a timer and a sleep mode, 3 mist levels. And I think we can actually tell what the humidity is on this one. So let's open it up and see what it looks like. Good packaging. We can compost that. Bad packaging. We can't compost that. Oh, there's a label on here that says before first use we've got to turn the power on. Ah yes, we've got to move the green strip from the floater before operating. There's a lid to it. There's the next bit to it. There's the bottom bit to it. And here's our instructions. Alright, so we remove our green strip from the floater. It's a nice term, isn't it? A floater. Bad connotations. There's our water tank. And our lid. Right. Let's open it up. We have our instructions and user manual, which we'll have a look at in a sec. What looks like some extra filters and a remote control, which means I don't have to open up the greenhouse to turn this on. So it's not as silly as it sounds. Might actually be useful having the remote control. Let's pull that battery thing out for it. Power, mist, plus, minus, light, sleep, and timer. All right. Let's have a look at our instructions. It's just a warranty card. Our specifications. This is what I really wanted to see. We have a mist volume selection. There's 3 levels on it. And we can set it to 100 millilitres an hour, 200 millilitres an hour, or 300 millilitres an hour. Meant to cover 10 to 30 metres square, but it's going to be inside Bruce, which is my little greenhouse out the back. And the running time is up to 40 hours. I don't think there's anything else that's of much interest. Has a 1.5 metre cord. Oh, that's what these are aroma pads. So if we want to make our mushrooms happy and relaxed with some essential oils, we can diffuse them through the greenhouse and keep our happy mushrooms. Or maybe that's the wrong sort of mushrooms, the happy mushrooms. Not to worry. Okay, so, yeah. At least they're in English. Real English. We need to get a battery for it. All right, so we're going to put some water in it. We'll get power over here and give it a shot. Has a removable water tank, which is actually quite handy because if he's going to be buried inside Bruce, it'll be much easier rather than unplugging and carrying the whole thing into the house or trying to get the hose and not spill it everywhere, just to take the water tank inside. Now, we have a night light as well. So not only can we use essential oils for our mushrooms and keep them mellow and happy and relaxed, if they're scared of the dark, we can put the night light on for them. I've now got some water in here. I've got to put the lid on, which is also a bit of a diffuser for it. And let's have a compare. I'm just going to pop the power on with the magic remote control, which, as I said, is going to be very handy. Don't have to undo the greenhouse and reach in and press buttons. And look at that. That's the low level, medium, and maximum, I think. Is it showing that on the front there, camera person? Look at that.
Wow.
So let's compare it to this fella. Oh, where's my button? It's a button. It's rather weedy, isn't it? See what happens when you go cheap? Needs a charge too. But not a complete waste. Well, actually it is a complete waste. Here we go again. But this looks really good. I can feel the nice cool mist coming out. Seems to be a bit of moisture there. Well, it certainly seems to be pumping out the water. And I think pumping 300 millilitres into the small volume of Bruce should be sufficient. And with 4 litres there, I'll only have to run it a couple of times a day in the heat of summer, leave it at night, and we'll see how it goes. So for my next trick, I've ordered more mushroom spawn. What did we order again? We ordered king oyster and, did we get lion's mane?
Yeah.
Yeah, king oyster and lion's mane. So when that arrives in the next week or so, we shall set all of this up, get our straw pasteurised, plant our mushrooms in their bags or buckets, and pop them in the greenhouse. Now we may have noticed, because I didn't, but the ever vigilant Curmudgeon camera person did, there's a number at the front. That number is actually the humidity level that we have here. That's actually very cool. And that's going to be really important because some of the mushroom varieties that I want to grow require a certain level of relative humidity. And we can set that. Isn't this a good little device? I really think this is going to work. At least I'm hoping it will. Okay, let me just set the timer. I'm going to have to look at this bit. I'm going to set the timer. Timer, 1. I don't know what it's setting. Let's have a look. Timer. That's how many hours. Okay, so I've set it to run for 69 hours at the moment. So I will probably set it to 12 hours, which is our, maximum on our summer days. There we go, 12 hours. Let it run during my time at work. And then in the evening, won't run it. Fill it up in the morning, set it off for another 12 hours, and we should be good. But we'll keep an eye on that relative humidity level and make sure we're within range. And because we've got the 3 levels, we can adjust that, I think, through a bit of practice. So goodbye all. Enjoy life, and I'll catch you in the garden.